Hey guys, it's 604 Comics. Sorry I wasn't able to do some reviews on Thursday. Had some stuff happening, so I wasn't able to record a video, but I was able to read through all my books this weekend, and I'm here with a really quick recap of what I thought about all these issues. Hopefully this won't take too long and keep you guys interested. So let's just quickly get started. I'm going to go from the worst book of the week all the way down to my pick of the week. Now, Journey into Mystery, issue number 650. This is the last issue in the Stronger Than Monsters story arc. I haven't found the story arc that great. I wanted to give it a chance, read Journey into Mystery, and see if I enjoyed it. Lady Sif seems like a really interesting character. The covers are really nice, but I found that the story overall was kind of a little bit confusing, and it didn't really capture my attention that much. And I actually had a hard time remembering what happened in the last issue. Now that the story arc's over, I think I've given it a chance, and it's not going to be a series I'm going to be sticking with. So that is Journey into Mystery, issue number 650. Next we have Injustice, Gods Among Us, issue number 3. First two issues were really good. It's something that's not in continuity, so the writer, Tom Taylor, isn't stuck to all that history, so he's able to do whatever he wants. And he did that in the first two issues. We saw some scenes that you wouldn't really see in the normal DC world, and that is what enticed me to the series and what made me find it interesting and why I enjoyed it so much. In this issue, we don't really get too much happening here. We see that Superman's still doing what he's doing. He's trying to do whatever needs to be done in order to keep the world safe. The government isn't too happy, so they've captured his parents, and the rest of the superheroes in the world are backing Superman. But it looks like Batman might have a difference of opinion, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. This comic is based off of a fighting video game, so it's inevitable that we're going to see good versus good and bad versus bad. But this issue, I didn't find it as good as the first two issues, mainly because there wasn't as much happening in this issue, and also I didn't think that the art was that great. It looks kind of sketchy in some areas, and it doesn't look like it's fully detailed, so that was a little bit distracting when I was reading this issue. Hopefully it picks up and we see some fights between some big superheroes in future issues. Deadpool issue number 3. So Deadpool continues on with this killing spree. There's not really much in this issue that I haven't read in the first two issues. Deadpool is still just jumping around the Ideaverse and killing all the literary figures. Sherlock Holmes is trying to catch up, but he's always 2 steps behind. And there's not much to say about this issue except that I'm actually looking forward to seeing this issue end next month with issue number 4, when we see Sherlock Holmes catch up with Deadpool. I'm looking forward to seeing the series end because there's only so much killing that Deadpool can do. Next, we have Uncanny Avengers issue number 5. So I enjoyed issue number 4, liked how that ended, that first story arc with Red Skull. This issue we see Wonder Man, Wasp, and Sunfire joining the team. Not too much happens in this issue. It's really about the team talking about the public appearance of the team and how they need to get the public support and have them back this team. And we have a fight at the end with Grim Reaper, and in the midst of all this, during this news conference, Rogue steals some of Wonder Man's powers, and she punches Grim Reaper, but it looks like she's used too much force, and apparently she's killed Grim Reaper on public TV, so that can't be good for their public image. But that's all that really happened. Rick Remender threw in a little bit. He threw in a bit about Age of Apocalypse stuff. If you've been reading Uncanny XForce in the previous volume, that was a big feature in that series. So I'm interested to see what he does with Age of Apocalypse in this series. And that is probably the only thing that's keeping me around, that little thing. And I'm really interested in just Scarlet Witch and Havoc. There's not much else in terms of the team makeup that has got me excited. So we'll see what he does with that. but that is Uncanny Avengers issue number 5. Next is a new series I'm picking up, The Flash issue number 18. The last story arc was the guerrilla warfare storyline. I was waiting for that one to finish and for a new storyline to start up, and issue number 18 starts it up with Marcio Takara doing the art. Really a big fan of Marcio Takara's art, so I felt that that must have been a sign for me to go check out The Flash issue number 18. What did I think of this issue? It was light. It wasn't as heavy. It's not heavy like Batman, but I found that it was pretty easy for me to get into, having not read any of the Flash issues in the past. What's happening here is Trickster's captured by the police for murder and robbery, but Trickster says he didn't kill anybody. Barry Allen's trying to figure it out and get to the bottom of it, and at the end we see that the Flash loses his powers. So that was interesting up until the point where it said, find out what happens in Dial H, issue number 11. I'm not really looking to pick up another series just to follow what's going on, so that is a big black mark on this series, but hopefully issue number 19, which I will pick up, fills in the gaps. Next up, we have Justice League Dark, issue number 18. I've been really enjoying this story arc. What is it called? The Death of Magic. This is the last issue in the 4-part story arc for Death of Magic. And what's happening is this non-magic world and Earth, and they're all colliding together, and Tim and his father are able to save both worlds, and they end up staying in the non-magic world as their rulers. There's some pretty good fight scenes here. Frankenstein's a badass, just killing everybody left and right. Yeah, like I said, I really did enjoy this. The art here is pretty nice too. Props to Mikhail Jenin for the art on this, I believe. Yes, artist and cover. So yeah, the art's really nice here. Other than that, I've been looking to get into some of the dark books, and I think I found it here. And at the end we see that there's some repercussions. Constantine doesn't feel like he wants to work with Steve Trevor anymore, and with that, Steve Trevor says, if you're not working with me, then you're an enemy of the Justice League. So that is really interesting, seeing as how we could see the Justice League Dark team going up against Justice League and the Justice League of America team. So that has got me excited, and I'm also excited to see Swamp Thing in the next issue. Jeff Lemire's doing a really good job writing that and this series, so something I'm going to stick with. Justice League Dark issue number 18. Next, we have one of my favorite series from Marvel Now, FF. Last issue came off with a really shocking cliffhanger. We saw Medusa was trying to help Bentley 23 achieve his supervillain goals. This issue, it doesn't really touch on that at the beginning. Medusa does act a little bit weird in her dealings with some of the FF kids. What we really see is, we see Johnny Storm going a little bit crazy, and he's torching up the whole city, and our FF team goes into effect to try to contain him, and with the help of some of the FF kids, they're able to stop Johnny Storm from burning up the whole city. And we also see that, where are we? Alex has gone off to Latveria, and it looks like he's going to go see Doctor Doom. So I'm interested to see what that is all about. And at the end of last issue, we saw that Medusa was going to try to help Bentley. We didn't really touch much on it in this issue up until this point, but we see that Bentley is here. He wakes up and he sees that his father, Wizard, is there. So again, Matt Fraction has given us another cliffhanger that makes me want to get the next issue right away and see where he's going with this. I think Matt Fraction's doing a really great job on this series. He's put a lot of hooks out there, like with Johnny Storm and Bentley and with Alex here. He's put a lot of hooks out there to make sure that the reader stays on with the series, and I'm definitely sticking with this for the long run. And not just that, it's like stuff like this here where Darla's trying to find headgear. It has no bearing on the story whatsoever, but it just demonstrates how quirky this book is, and it's one of the things that makes me enjoy this book so much. So definitely enjoying FF. Issue number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 1. So I read 0.1 on the weekend, and I really liked it. So I didn't know what to expect from it, but it was something that really had me entertained. So I decided to pick up issue number 1. I was expecting more of like an origin story for the rest of the team, because I really don't know anything about Gamora or Drax or Drew or Rocket Raccoon. So I was expecting to see one of those typical issue number 1s where the whole team gets together and they explain who everyone is and what their connection is to the team. We didn't really quite get that, but what we do get is we jump right in with Star-Lord, and he's got a confrontation with his father, who tells him that Earth is off limits and he can't go to Earth. And obviously, when someone tells you you can't do something, that's the first thing you want to do. Then we jump to Iron Man. He's in space, and he's about to fight off this Badoon ship. And as he's, I guess, shooting lasers and stuff at it, the Guardians of the Galaxy come and join the fight, and they proceed to beat up the ship a bit. Crazy battle scenes here. There's so much action going on here. And the ship blows up. But before the ship can blow up, there's an escape pod that ejects, and it's heading towards Earth. And it's going to attack Earth, as I see here on the last panel. And it appears that Star-Lord's father is behind this attack. So that sets up issue number 2, and we're going to see the Guardians of the Galaxy defend Earth. I enjoyed this issue quite a bit, but like I said, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting more of an origin story or a typical number 1 story where we see the entire team get together. I really don't know much about the characters, but Gamora looks badass and Drax looks pretty cool, but don't know anything about Groot and Rocket Raccoon, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more about those characters in future issues. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And I would definitely recommend you guys go check this out. I'm not a big cosmic universe reader, but this one has got me entertained. And the art here by Steve McNiven is really nice. Got that 2-page panel there. So there we go, Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 1. That is my pick number 3 of the week. Pick number 2 is Uncanny XForce issue number 3. In the last issue we saw Bishop come, and he was going to fight with the team. Here we see that he's disappeared with the new mutant girl, Ginny, and the team has to go find them. And this is how we see Psylocke working with Spiral. They get teleported to a subway. If I can just find that page. They get teleported to a subway where they meet up with Bishop and Ginny, and then this fight just happens. It's really badass. The art here by Ron Garney is amazing. I love his art on this, and he does an awesome job with all these fight scenes, and all the facial characteristics of these characters are just spot on. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying this series so much. So they're fighting, and Spiral is able to teleport away with Ginny, and Psylocke is still fighting with Bishop, and she stabs him in the brain with one of her side blades, and that puts her inside Bishop's head, which looks like it's going to be a little bit hard to get out of, because it's just an incredible maze. And she finds out that the tunnel wasn't the trap. It's actually Bishop's brain that is the trap. So now she's stuck in there. So now she's got to figure out how to get out of here. Meanwhile, we can't forget about Phantom X. Phantom X is still with Cluster, and they're trying to find Psylocke, but they don't know that Dark Phantom X is hot on their trail. So I'm guessing issue number 4 they gotta meet up because we're already 4 issues in. So that'll be interesting to see what Phantom X wants with Psylocke and what Dark Phantom X is going to be doing about all this. Sam Humphries, I don't think I've read any of his stuff before, but I'm really digging how he's writing this issue. For people that aren't familiar with the characters, he's done these one-page, really quick backgrounds on the characters, and it doesn't feel like it's just been thrown in there. It kind of feels like, it does feel like it's mixed in with the story, and it flows really well. So there's a page for Psylocke. We see a bit here with Spiral, and then we see a little bit with Storm right here. It's not even that much, it's like one panel, but it gives a little bit of history on some of the characters, and I think that was a great idea. So Uncanny X-Force issue number 3 is my second pick of the week. Really enjoying this series. All the characters, all the writing, art, bang on. And then the last issue of the week, which is my pick of the week, is East of West issue number 1. So this is new series, new indie series by Jonathan Hickman. It's got a it's got like a Western kind of feel. It's got some of that Confederacy stuff, and he tops it all off with the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. It's kind of hard to describe this series. It's set in the future in 2064, and we see that start at the beginning. We see that these 3 children are rebirthed, and we find out that these 3 are the 4 Horsemen, or 3 of the 4, and one of them did not rebirth with them. So that 4th one has left them, and now they say they got to find him and they have to kill him. So those are 3 of the 4 Horsemen right there, and that's how this issue starts, which is a pretty crazy start to this series. We get a bit of history. We get a history lesson here, so I'll gloss over that, and then we get introduced to this cowboy character, and he's with this native guy by the name of Wolf and this female by the name of Crow. So the reader doesn't really know who this character is, but he's looking for information. He's coming to this bar. There's some brutal fighting. Crow and Wolf just take care of everybody here. I guess that's the Union boys, and this cowboy character is trying to get information from the bartender because something has happened to him in the past, and that leads him to the President of the United States. So here he catches up with the President. He goes and he kills the President because of something that he did to him in the past, I'm guessing. Still quite a little bit lost with this issue, but I'm sure Jonathan Hickman will fill in the gaps in future issues. We also see that the kids here are, I guess, on the hunt for the 4th Horseman, and they've racked up a pretty impressive body count. So there's a lot of things happening in this issue, and if you're familiar with Jonathan Hickman's work, I think this is probably going to be a series where it's kind of a slow burn, where each issue builds up and up until there's a crazy climax that happens. But from what I've read so far, with the whole concept of this futuristic world and cowboys and the 4 Horsemen, I really liked it. Art here is really nice too, here by Nick Dragato. So I'm looking forward to reading the next issue. Probably won't appeal to everybody, but if you can follow along, I think this is definitely a series that will pay off for the reader if they invest their time into it. And it's my pick of the week. I enjoyed it even more so than Uncanny XForce. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch my reviews, whether it be just a minute or the full thing. I really appreciate all your comments and all your support, and I will see you guys for my next pull list video. I think I might have something before that, depending on what comes in the mail, but thank you for watching. As always, like if you like, comment if you want, and subscribe if you haven't. This is 604 Comics, and hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks.